submitted for your approval. One Mr. Klavan, who's about to take a trip into oddness and obsolescence, here on the plane of infinite despair.
That's very good.
No, it was appalling. It was appalling.
I was impressed. I'm easily impressed, I guess.
This is the show with no name. I like to call it Reflections. It's the show where we answer the questions most on your mind. All you have to do is be a PJTV subscriber or a friend of PJTV on Facebook. And PJTV Facebook fan Kenneth England asks, can we become so tolerant that we stand for nothing? And D you to hell. Kenneth, that's the question I wanted for myself more than anything. Andrew, can we become so tolerant that we stand for nothing?
Absolutely we can. In fact, lawyers actually have a phrase for this. They call it the tolerance trap, which is where you tolerate the intolerant. You tolerate that which would destroy tolerance. If you tolerate Islamofascism, you're tolerating something that will wipe tolerance off the face of the map. And the answer is you can't fall for what C.S. Lewis called the abolition of man. The abolition of man is the idea that man is infinitely pliable, that there is no basis, there is no bottom line to what is right and wrong in mankind. And the mathematicians call this an axiom. It can't be proved, but it is the thing on which everything else stands. Our forefathers called it self-evident truths, that there are certain basic things beyond which man cannot have dignity, man cannot be man. And I think that when you start to tolerate those things, that's when your tolerance is not tolerance at all. And this is, of course, what we see on the left, not just in practice. I mean, we see it in practice all the time when they tell us, like, oh, you're Islamophobic if you don't want Sharia law to make incremental inroads in our society. But you also see it being taught in our universities on this philosophical basis. The idea that there is no truth, there are only truths and narratives. The idea that we aren't anything in particular, and we are, and it's just not true. And we have to believe in that which cannot be proved, but is true nonetheless.
Yeah, this is when people say, well, that's your reality. Exactly. This is my reality. No, there's only one reality. You may not like it, and I may not have a complete total perception of it, but there is an external reality. Something happens. A tree does make a sound if no one's there to hear it when it falls in the forest.
That's right. And we shouldn't be afraid to have people call us names for standing for the basic principles of right and wrong, the basic principles of the West, which, after all, at their very base level, are the basic principles of humanity. We shouldn't be afraid to take the hits for being called intolerant, for standing up for those.
And this isn't an accident either. You know, I live in mortal fear of conspiracy theory. I think people become paranoid and start seeing patterns where there are no patterns. But certainly, the Frankfurt School and this entire idea of critical theory, attacking the culture, but this whole idea of political correctness and tolerance is a way for the left to disarm the counterattack. In other words, we're going to say all these awful things about the country. We're going to say all these awful things about you, your heritage, all of your belief systems. And if you respond, you're being intolerant,
That's
you see?
right. You're
being hateful. I'm not even listening to you. You're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're a misogynist. I don't even have to hear your argument. I'm going to push it off the table because la, 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 la. Right? It's a way of instant, not only deflecting the counterattack, it's a way of stopping the counterattack. You're not allowed to go back at these issues.
That's exactly right. And that's why guys like Rush Limbaugh, Ann Coulter, PJTV, all of us, people who are willing to take that hit and be called those names are so important because they're changing the conversation. We already have changed it.
Yeah, that's right. Well, Andrew, we're out of drive space. So we have time for today. PJTV subscribers and Facebook fans, let us know what questions you'd like answered next time. You can just leave your questions in the comments section located below. And if you like this series, let us know by hitting the like button, also below. For Andrew Klavan and PJTV, I'm Bill Whittle. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.